All right, welcome everybody. I'm super excited to start our very first week of presence in business and leadership. And well, I thought I turned off the waiting room too, so let me do that because I swear I did. Okay, it should be off now. Okay, so of course my daughter just walks in. Presley, I'm on a call. I can't open those right now, but as soon as I'm done, ask your brother to help, okay? As soon as I'm off, thanks. All right, so the joys of, again, being a parent and running a business and all of those things. And I think that's really the core of us truly understanding what presence in business is. And I have a couple, we'll talk a little bit about what presence is in the first place. Presence can be used in the terms of stillness. It can be used in the terms of awareness. I really turned off this waiting room and it keeps wanting to turn itself back on. So I hope, I think I need to put a password on. That's why it keeps turning it back on. I understand. All right. So maybe I'll eventually make a co-host so then I don't have to be distracted, because those that know me know I have ADD. And then it blocks my train of thought because things pop up. Again, another thing we'll talk about with presence, as many of us have this. Yeah, Jen, can I do that? Can I make you the co-host? I would really appreciate that right now. And you can let people in. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, see? All you have to do is ask for help and then you get it. So that's actually part of what we're going to be learning too, is learning to receive the gifts of what we each provide each other. And in that receiving, how that actually accelerates business. So let's get back to, now I got this all taken care of, the focus of this. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Tara Truax. There is an array of people with different backgrounds here. Some of you I've known for many years. Some of you were just introduced to me through somebody else we know, and wanted to take advantage of this weekly space to start growing our presence in business. And so again, the other word I think I got distracted for is awareness. And when we become more aware, what it often feels like is overwhelm. And as we become overwhelmed, for a lot of us, we hit fight or flight. And what's interesting is, like, even in nature, there's animals that do this as a protective mechanism. And so in that process, we then make ourselves wrong and we go into the wrongness of ourselves, and we must not be good at business. We must not be good leaders. We must not be good parents. We must not be good, in our church or community or wherever we're showing up, because we've hit that spot. But these are all actually like things that what I like to call are the little things that kind of crack us open to becoming more aware. And in that awareness, then we have choice. So we're going to work through these each week. We're going to work through different smaller topics. Those of you who know me well, when stuff starts coming in, it's what comes in. It's what everyone needs to hear that week. So I usually don't make a syllabus, and this is what we're talking about each week, because sometimes it's just very relevant of who's on the call and what is happening in the world and the energy that comes through. But I would like to share just a little bit of my background for each of you. And of course, my daughter is coming back in again. Okay. I'm going to open a fruit cup. And I'm going to, please don't spill this. Oh. Okay. See, you guys are all witnessing it firsthand. I'm going to share a little bit of background about me for those of you who don't know me well, so that you can kind of understand our journey and where I'm hoping that I can help facilitate some of you in growing as well. So I am a retired professional dancer. I worked in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. As a professional dancer, I really wore a starving artist badge very strong. I believed that I actually became a really great master manipulator of money. I could create any job or whatever I needed just enough to hit the next bill or to hit the next thing I needed to do. And it actually became a kind of a game for me. But dance was my entire life and my entire existence, and everything went around that. And I had a lot of limiting beliefs in my life that came came to around money, things I experienced as a child with witnessing my parents' bankruptcies, having it all taken away. So I had that feeling within inside me of just waiting for the rug to be pulled out. I also grew up with a single mom. And so we went through a long period of time where like food was hard for us. Like we didn't have food. My mom had never worked a day in her life when she became a single mom. So there was a lot of things I witnessed growing up that I didn't even like know, like consciously, were being subconsciously programmed into the actions I was taking. And a lot of that was I must do more to receive more. And I don't need to take from anyone, because if I take it from anyone, then I owe them something because of experiences I had in the past. I owe them something. So I will do it all alone. I can take care of myself. I don't need anyone. And some of you guys are like, yep, been there, done that. Like I still maybe even do that sometimes. So these are all deep limiting beliefs that actually block the receiving and flow. And again, I'm going to say this probably a million times so you guys understand, what is business? Business is the exchange of energy for something. We are giving a service, a product, whatever we do in exchange for something. Again, whether it's trading of another service, money, etc., it is still the exchange of energy and frequency between people. And that truly is what business is. And if we want to elevate that business, what we want to do is increase that frequency. And for some of us, it's dropping the heavy baggage that we're still carrying. And some of us consciously and some of us deeply unconsciously. It could show up in weight. It can show up in severe money blocks. It could show up in the relationships in your life, in your family. It could show up with your relationship with your bank account. There's a lot of things ways it can show up, and we're going to dig into those as well. So that came from my experiences being a dancer. I was very successful. I traveled all over the world. I kind of had a wake-up call because after 3 years of a contract I had with the Los Angeles Opera, I found out I was pregnant with my first son and shook me into motherhood, which then I didn't even know my identity. I was in my 30s at that point, didn't know my identity, and was like, what am I even going to do? And from there, kind of spiraled to what led me into running several dance studios, having the background in brick and mortar businesses and what it took to build those up when it came from the artistic perspective and then the financial perspective. And then I was introduced into the network marketing space and was able to, again, grow a great business with middle success, and then taking that business to become multi-million-dollar success as I used what I knew and grew and the failures I had there, and working through, again, my money beliefs and a deep-rooted belief, and some of you guys may have this one too, that people didn't like me as I was, and I was not enough. And if I didn't change who I was or become who people wanted me to be, then I wouldn't, they wouldn't like me. And so when you grow groups, when you hold teams, when you're a leader of groups and you don't believe within your core that people don't like you as you are, again, the block that shows in leadership and business can block money flows as well. It can block business growth as well, and it can block your stability. So we're going to go through all of these things. It's a lot. That's why we just meet weekly. This group formed from a group I've been running for 4 years. For 4 years, every single Thursday, I show up and I work with people through their limiting beliefs, what's happening in their business. We break it apart. And what I've found is it has been one of the highlights of the last 4 years, and the conversations I've had with people has been something that has really lit them up. And I wanted to then be able to take this to more people. So at the moment, I am becoming a certified teacher of presence. I work directly now with Eckhart Tolle. He is my personal mentor right now. And I am in this process for the next 6 months, as he is actually helping us and encouraging us to step into our own presence and becoming a teacher of presence, which, by the way, just naming yourself a teacher of presence is complete ego, which is outside of what we're going to be teaching anyway. But we do live in a human reality, so we have to label something. So, but with that being said, I want to create space And to be completely honest, I have a message almost every day from somebody asking me, how can I build a more conscious business? How do you do all the things you do? You guys, I've become an international best-selling author. I have traveled all over the world. My kids, I have a child that is high functioning on the spectrum. We have a lot happening. My husband is a very, very, very demanding career. We have a lot happening. And even sitting at a table with a woman I met in Germany, a couple weeks ago when I was at the Eckhart Tolle retreat, she's like, you have 3 kids. How are you so present? And I actually couldn't answer it, but I realized these are skills and things that I've attributed over time. And I'm hoping as I can start to share some of these with you guys, you can pick and choose what resonates with you, what you need at the time, and start applying. Because sometimes it's going to be completely, like what I said, overwhelming. Awareness works that way. I like to explain awareness like, you know, those really magnifying mirrors in the bathroom, like they have at hotels. Because every time I go to a hotel, I do this to myself. So I probably shouldn't do it anymore, but whatever. And you're like, oh, I have a zit. Like, okay, you like look in your regular mirror, you're like, oh, I have a zit. And then you get a high powered mirror and you like turn the light on and you're like, oh my gosh, I have like 100 zits. Like one zit, oh, I'll just pop it, put some stuff on it, move away, move on. But now you have like 100 zits all over your face and you're like, well, I can't, what do I do? Like you look completely overwhelmed. Like I didn't see it. It wasn't there. That's kind of what awareness is like. That's kind of as it comes up, you're like, well, it's easy not to see when you don't see it. But once you see it, then what do you do? And that also is the space of choice. So you could be whatever business you're in, whatever background you're in. You guys, I have done everything from as a professional dancer. I am a board certified health and wellness coach, worked in the health and wellness space for over 20 years as both a personal trainer, movement therapist, and then a health and wellness coach for over 10 years, board certified for the last, I don't know, 6 or something, 5 or 6. But it's again, they're all tools that I utilize in the toolbox. And from that space, as you expand, you start to, whatever business you're in, you have the choices within that lane. And as you start to expand, the choices for possibility get greater. Somebody explained it to me like, you know, you have an issue that comes up and it's like a balloon and it's running through your mind constantly. And you just keep running it. I should have said this, or I wish I did that, or, you know, this thing happened, and you just can't stop running it through your mind. And if you see it and you just close your eyes for a minute, actually, why don't we do this? Everyone just close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to take a deep breath. And as you take that deep breath, just be aware of where your breath expands to. And exhale. Now do the same thing again and take a deep breath again and see if you can get that breath to expand a little bit more. And then exhale again. Keep your eyes closed. Now I want you, without moving or opening your eyes, feel your arm. Don't touch it. Don't move. Take a deep breath. See if you can breathe into the awareness of your arm. How do you know your arm is there if you can't see it or touch it? Do it again and breathe in and see if you can, with that breath, start to feel an awareness of where your arm is without seeing it or touching it. Now, as you're here in this space, in that essence, I want you to see a problem in your head, something that's been running in your head, and I want you to put it in a balloon. Now, if you want to look up in the sky, over the ocean, a garden, whatever is open space for you and feels good. I want you to see that balloon, you letting go of that balloon and keep focusing on the balloon. Look at it. Now let the balloon go and start being aware of the sky and the space around the balloon as the balloon goes away. That vastness, that's your essence. That vastness, that's your stillness. That vastness, that's your presence. The balloon, you can open your eyes, is your ego, your mind, your mental narrative that creates your reality in the moment, but it is not true. There is not a single thought in the moment that is truth. And we know that to be true because if you died today and they did an autopsy and they opened up your brain, there is nowhere in your brain that they could go find that memory and pull it out. Nowhere. There's actually zero proof. Now they can do brain studies and say, oh, this parts of your brain light up, but it's not like that movie In and Out where they go and then the memories are lined up and they can pull them out. That's not there. There is nowhere they can go into your brain and say, oh, this is where her memory is of that trauma. Oh, this is where her memory is of that thing, or his. I apologize. There's not a whole lot of men that are yet opening up to this type of way of doing business, but there are a few who've joined. So if I do say her, again, I do apologize. But which is really powerful for men to step into this balancing out as well, because what has happened is as women, we have stepped into the masculine doing way of business, the doing of life. We have to do this and be here and do this and make this money and show up and take care of this thing and do all these things. And we forget about the being. So we call the doing the human life. This is our human life. And then we call our being, that's the vertical life. That's the essence. That's that vast space. That is who you are regardless. It's who you are before you came here. It's who you are when you leave. It is your essence of your being. It is not your memory. It is not hair color. It is not what you look like. It has zero ego. It is your being. There's no thought there. It just is. It is the moment. It is now. And it's now. And it's now. So the more present you are without thought, the more in the now you are creating. When you find that intersection of the being and the human doing, right there in the middle, look at that magic. It's a cross. Who knew? Right there in the middle, that's where the magic happens. That's where you get these really creative ideas. You're like, I don't know where they're coming from, but I did this thing and I made this post and I had 1 million people buy this thing and I didn't even know it was, that's that space. But when you're do, because this person told me to, and this person told me to, and this person told me to, and this person told me to, you forget to tell yourself to turn back in to your greatest strength, you. That's what we're going to do every single week. Now we have started a Telegram chat, you guys. That Telegram chat is for you guys to start, hey, I am really stuck in my thoughts on this. Hey, I have started to practice meditation. You guys, okay, this is perfect. Somebody said this to me the other day. They're like, okay, how do you get to stillness? Like I meditate, like, okay, my kids are here and this and that, and like, how do you get to stillness? The goal is not to just sit in meditation all the time and be in stillness. There's no point. You would not be doing anything in this reality. And here's a perfect example. He was a guy from the United States. He goes to Tibet and he's going to be a monk, and they send him up to the mountaintops and he's meditating all the time. He's just in complete stillness, in presence all the time. They're bringing him food up there. He's there for 3 months. He comes down off the mountain because he has to take care of his visa. He's in complete presence. He's in total stillness, no thoughts at all. He is super aware. And he goes to not the politics house. That is not even a thing. I don't even know what that is. He goes to Immigration Services. What am I even talking about? See, and you don't even know what you're talking about sometimes. To get his visa taken care of, and he's getting the runaround. And it is one thing after another, after another. And about 4 hours later, he's like slamming his hands on the desk and he's screaming and yelling, and he completely lost all presence, all awareness, and moved to completely unconscious. That's called unconscious behavior when we react like that, unconscious behavior. And his awareness came that, okay, when he was up on a mountaintop and not triggered by life, you could be in stillness. But when he's in the everyday of life, it was really, really difficult. That's where we are. So the goal is to start bringing more presence and more awareness to the challenges that arise. And we are not tapping into the thought of something that just happened. We don't have to make something that happened, even if it's challenging, good or bad, you guys. Some of the greatest limitations we do is we take a challenge and we make it bad, when that challenge could actually be the key to what breaks us open to the next level of ourselves. So we want to be just in the awareness of, okay, that's an interesting point of view, or okay, what's right about this I'm not seeing, or okay, now what choices do I have available to me at the moment? So we're learning to ask more questions. And if I make this choice, is it a greater contribution to my body, to my family, to my community, and to the earth? Because once we start getting a yes for that, then you just choose that choice. You don't have to worry about the outcome, and you don't have to worry about the past. The past doesn't exist. There's no proof of it. There's no proof of it. Everything from the past only exists in a memory, and I just showed you there was no proof to even find those in your head. So how do you know that a different version of yourself even is real? Because someone else told you? Based on their paradigm, based on the glasses they were wearing when they experienced that thing through that you went through? Again, not true in this moment now. For those of you who have not read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now or listened to it, highly recommend it. There's a podcast that Oprah interviews him chapter by chapter. It is fantastic if you prefer that way. It is so powerful in understanding that in the now, you are safe. You are okay. And even in the most challenging situation, at that moment, you are safe and you're okay. So what do you choose? And I'm going to tell you guys, even in a very, very scary situation with a gun to your head or etc., you are safe. You are okay. What do you choose? This immediately will start empowering you in the daily lives of your business activities. So every week you guys will meet at the same time. I will post the recordings in the Telegram chat. I will post the recording in the group too. So you can go back and watch it. This one, as the welcome one, I will pin at the top just so people understand. We have people of all types of backgrounds here, all over the world. So please, if you're looking for support with something, you can ask if you're in, the direct sales industry, or you're in the healing industry, or you're in the coaching industry, or you have a brick and mortar. You can ask industry, but don't be specific for your company or your specific things, because we don't want to make it too small and specific for people that could actually learn and benefit from people of all different industries, healthcare, arts. It's really incredible how they all come together for the greater elevation of consciousness when we all step into awareness of how other people are doing business through times that are easy and also through times that are challenging. And remember, an easy time now for you could be a challenging time next year, and vice versa at any moment, because of your journey, your process, your development, and the growth that your soul needs to step into the next level of who you are here to serve, who are you here to become. And as you guys become this, just in business, just in that exchange of energy, as you do that, you then are teaching more presence, more awareness, and making a greater contribution to the world. So I also each week will often open it up to questions. Those questions, we will work through in just like one-on-one coaching, opening up to, because it usually all spurs and it's incredible actually how this happens. It relates to what other people are going through in the same way, and feedback from each other so that we can also help each other grow and create a safe space, and you guys can kind of get to know each other on there. The last thing I do want to say is that please keep this space and who shares in here and what they share sacred to this space in this group. Please do not share anything outside of this group without somebody's specific permission in writing. Because again, people share deep things, people have all kinds of different challenges, and that is not ever our story to share. We are here to respect and hold space so that we can all grow our businesses. As we do that, learning the skills to do that, which you guys, when you are constantly bombarded by a lot of messages, a lot of questions, a lot of things coming at you from the outside, how easy it for you to get overwhelmed and either snap, which a lot of us tend to do at the people we love most, like our spouses or our children, or just not respond at all. And that's the space we don't want to create here. We want to create that space that we can come back together, help each other through that. And there is not criticism or this is what I would do, or it is creating that presence so that each person within them finds their soul essence to get to their answers. So I encourage you, if somebody asks a question or is struggling with an issue, that you bring up more questions to allow that person to come to the answer within themselves. And then if you're being guided to share, I had a similar experience, and this was some of the questions I asked myself, some quiet journaling time. These were the questions I asked myself in that journaling time that opened up a new way for me. Those type of tools are really what I'm hoping this group starts to elevate in each other, so that each one of you becomes so empowered in your own presence, in your own power of you now, of who you truly are, that next thing we know, like all of you guys are like, have multi-million-dollar businesses because everything's flowing and attracting to you. I just got goosebumps. Because when we are showing up and serving, and not just giving, we will talk about this, not just giving, but showing up and serving in our true essence, not to get anything in return, but because it's what our soul is called to do. And many of you, I see so many on you, that is truly your essence. You guys, the gift is it's ever receiving, because now we're co-creating with the earth. We're co-creating with the planet. And how can it truly get better than that? Truly. So I want to leave you guys with this story, because I want you guys to truly ponder this as you move into next week. And if you do journal, I'm going to encourage you guys to keep a journal, to have a journal, and use your journal to ask questions. When something challenging comes up, start asking questions. And the simple questions I want you guys to ask is, what's right about this I'm not seeing? How can I get better than that or this? And what else is possible here? Because those simple ones will often calm that first angst and need to react to get to a place of peace. And then I want you to do a couple of those breathing. You guys, you all close your eyes and you breathe for like 3 breaths. And every single one of you brought your awareness and calmness back into you. What would happen if you did that once every hour? Can you imagine closing your eyes for 3 breaths once every hour? Imagine the awareness you would start to be, the presence you would start to be, and showing up in your day, even if you're like still struggling and you're running all these things through your head. And believe me, we all do. But when I was meditating on a mountaintop for a week, there was nothing in here, you guys. It was the craziest experience. And once you get to a place of stillness, it is nuts, because then you get really aware of when you're not still. And it's like really loud. Like I said about that awareness, it gets really loud. And now I've learned all I have to do is turn on, for me, like a module with Eckhart speaking, I can instantly re-tap in. So I found something that helps. He is not the access point. The access point is presence, but he is a tool that's helping me get there. I am not your teacher. I am not telling you anything different. I am a tool, an access point to help you get there. That's what we all are for each other. But in your journal this week, I want you to this is what I would like you to really consider this week. I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'd like you to reflect on it this week. So I want you to imagine you're standing on the side of the road, and your best friend drives up in like one of those tiny smart cars. And you happen to be this beautiful 12-foot tall, gorgeous, your hair is flowing, you have like this beautiful outfit on, and you're 12 feet tall, radiating light, and you're supposed to fit in this smart car. But they're going somewhere you want to go, you don't want to miss it. And so you're like, man, how am I going to fit in this teeny seat in this car? So you start cutting off parts of yourself, and your hair and your clothes and your dress is too big. You start taking it all off so that you can fit inside the car. You cut off so much part of your being to fit in their car, to go to where they want to go. And then they get out of their car and they have all of them there, and you're missing a lot of yourself. How many of you guys have cut off parts of yourself to go places where other people want to go so you could fit in, so that you could be part of something, but you left a huge part of who you truly are behind? I want you guys to identify what parts of yourself have you cut off. And you guys, business and life go hand in hand. From you truly showing up in your business as exactly as you are, which means exactly as you are is specific. Some of you guys are so general in your business, like truly so general in your business because you don't want to offend anyone. That's you cutting off part of yourself, by the way. How much of you are you cutting off to be like someone else so you fit in for them? And when you don't fit in for them, guess what they do? They go and they find somebody else who will. But you cut off parts of yourself, and so your people can't even find you. You cut it off. I just got chills again. Your people can't even find you because you cut off that giant 12-foot beautiful light being you were to fit in a teeny car going somewhere for a minute. And if you would have stood there for longer, a car that is made for you would come up with people just like you waiting to go where you're going. I want you guys to start recognizing this, because this is the essence of your business. This is the essence of having true presence in that. I will tell you, it is uncomfortable. I have been there. I am the weirdest person most of you guys all know. And the reason you all ask me for help is because you know how weird I am, and I've had success in it. And I have also been told I can't do it. And I've also been told that's not okay. And I've also been told in my heart, I will still follow that guidance. And no matter what, no matter who doesn't like me, or no matter what narrative people want to say, or no matter what is said about me, I will still follow the presence of who I am and came here to be. So we want to get you so safe in the moment that you choose you and don't cut you off no matter what. Tia's comment in the chat. Please don't do that, guys. Some of you guys know me really well, and you know funny things that have happened to me. So I want you guys to journal and process that. The last thing I'd like you guys to journal for this week, sorry, we're running a little over. Sometimes the coaching could go over too. If you do want to block an hour, that could happen sometimes, because like I said, it comes in and out and I don't know what's going to happen. Traditionally they're about 30 minutes, but I get if people have to hop off, I will post the recording. The last thing I want to ask you What do you really want? Some of you guys are in a business because you think you have to. Some of you guys got in the car and you went to that event and you cut all these pieces off yourself, and all these people had all their body parts, and you're like, well, I could do this business too. I know I can, but you're trying to do it like with half an arm and half an eye and all the things. Like, you really need to shift your arena, and you maybe might even need a different business, just like you needed a different car. Some of you may be choosing something out of limitation and scarcity versus the vastness of possibility aware to you. Remember, you guys, the vastness of possibility available, not aware, that you're not yet aware of. I don't know what I was talking about. Sorry. You guys will really know. I don't make sense half the time. Whatever. Somehow people still listen. That's crazy. Regardless, the awareness of this is what I want you guys to start tapping into. If I were to choose the greatest essence of my business and my being, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What could I create? What industry could it be? Am I in it? Am I not? Who do I need to know, meet? None of that's going to come in your mind. So if you tell me I need to think about it, I'm going to say, please don't do that. Your mind can only create that's what it already knows, and that is your past. Unless you want to create your past now, in the present, and in the future, stop. Reduce the past. Get rid of the past. Get rid of the thought, because in the moment, that essence, that being, that stillness, that breath, when you breathed into your arm, you guys raise your hand. How many of you, when you, without touching your arm or seeing it or feeling it or moving it, when you really started focusing and moving in the breath, even started to feel a tingling or something? Raise your hand. Some of you may not have, but some of you may have. That's the awareness. That right there is something you can practice. 3 breaths and practice. Okay, can I feel it yet? No? Okay, that's all right. We'll do it again in another hour. We'll do it again tomorrow. Like, who cares? Don't judge the process, because the thoughts are going to come. You're going to have all kinds of balloons. You're going to have to close your eyes and like let a whole, like it's going to be like the movie Up where he lets all the balloons go. It's really going to be like that. And yet, as you get further and further and further away, the sky is always bigger. And that's your essence. Melissa said she needs some embodiment and I don't know if she meant rewilding or rewinding, but either one is actually really, really relevant, because I would like more wilding in my life too. But you guys, this is going to be fun. I hope you start to dig in and you use this and start applying these right away. Start applying it in the awareness of your business. Start journaling the challenges that come up or the thoughts that come up, because that's your entry point. That is giving you information to where we can let it go, because once we crack it open, as we crack it open, that's where it lives. It lives inside. So we want it all to crack open, and it is so uncomfortable. And yet we can all be uncomfortable together and be safe, because in the now, you guys are safe. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys get a lot out of this. You guys are welcome to share this with your friends, your groups, whoever. Again, people that are not wanting to work this way and not in consciousness will just push it aside anyway. They won't join anyway, because they'll be like, she's freaking nuts. And that's okay, because there's a whole lot of us that are. So we can provide that community together for those that it resonates with. And I will post this in the group and pin it to the top. So if someone's new, just say, hey, make sure you answer the questions in the group. You guys, if people don't ask the question, answer the questions, which includes the rules of respecting all backgrounds and all different types of businesses. They will not be allowed in. So please make sure they answer those questions, and then they can watch this recording. And then from then on, they'll just be, dropped in the group and dropped in the chat for you guys. But I welcome you. The Telegram chat is pinned in the group too, for those who choose to join. And I'm excited for you guys to really start to dig in to how presence in your business can massively transform your life and create something beyond anything you thought was possible in that human plane. We're here for it. We're here to do it now, and the time is now, and what's happening in the world. But all right, you guys, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.